Welcome everyone to another episode of the Warmup. I'm here with the guys as per usual. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy 2021. I'm your guy, 25th Chris, in honor of the 25th Amendment that will probably not ever be used in the coming days. But we also have 11,780 votes.
The Holy Grail.
You can call them votes for short, or 11,780. I don't know.
I like that.
Figure it out.
I like
High
that.
digits. There we have Kev RL, and there we have Mr. Eviction. I guess he's gonna get evicted, or someone's gonna push him out. Secret Service. So say what's up to the YouTube crowd, guys.
What's up, y'all? What's
What's
up,
up? What's
y'all?
up?
We just have to ask the question: why he ain't just ask for 12,000 votes?
Because we know
That'd
he
be too
ain't do the
suspicious.
math. We know he ain't do the math.
No, he was reading off the paper. He was like, "Look, we need 11,700. Look, y'all got to find these votes. I know they out here. We won by a landslide. 11,780 votes.
Check the suffocations.
So yeah, as you guys know, if you have not been here before, this is a place where we talk about sports, Black culture, and everything in between, current news. And today we're gonna be more on the news side today, through the Black lens. So let's get right into it. So 2021, starting off is a great year so far. A little bit of rollover from 2020, January 5th, 2021, following the shooting of Jacob Blake back in Kenosha, Wisconsin, in the middle of the year. Um, District Attorney residing over Kenosha found enough evidence to not charge the police officer with anything, and so he is scot free back on the force. Doing his thing, shooting people in the back. In the classic play call that says for as a response to this, with sending the National Guard to Kenosha just because people are going to protest peacefully. 24 hours later, just not that fast, just not that far along. The mob rioters, Trump rally people, Trump supporters, got riled up by your very own President 45, and went ahead and encroached upon Capitol Hill to let their voices be heard, about voting and um, signing off on the electoral votes for President-elect Joe Biden. One woman was shot, three others were killed or died as well, and as well as many injuries on both sides. There's both sides, right? Police and the encroachers. I'm just gonna call them encroachers. Um, Insurgents. I think I heard that too.
I heard
Anyway,
terrorists. I heard all kinds of stuff. Man.
Wait. What? There were police. I saw the guides. I saw the tour guides.
Oh no,
Uniforms.
those were police officers.
there were police officers.
Oh, bruh, I thought the badge was like a name tag for the tour guide. My bad.
You thought it was. You thought it was
police.
You thought it was the ushers.
Yeah.
Hey yo, everyone had the same name tag. It just said police on the
How many in y'all group? 3. Nancy Pelosi office right down that way.
Exactly. So the VIP members, so senators, House of Representative, congressional people, as well as the staff and aides and stuff, were locked down as people descended upon Capitol Hill, and all the while they were assaulting police officers, taking selfies with police officers, raiding offices, ransacking them, taking government property, podiums, and whatnot. What else did they do?
Selfies.
Yeah, they did selfies.
Yeah, you
A
mentioned
couple of
that.
couple of pipe bombs were discovered. There was some irritant that was projected onto police officers as well. Um, so it's a whole 9 yards. Everything short of
Some
taking
crazy
over.
IG posts.
So yeah, it was a interesting day yesterday, guys. What are your initial thoughts on this whole series of events? We can start with you, Mr. Eviction.
Hey, my first question, man, the Kenosha thing. Did the DA look at the evidence with their eyes closed? Like, that's the only way I could agree with that. Like, they never they read the evidence just like this.
Or
Like this.
or more likely they just didn't look at the evidence.
just threw it away. Uh, Yesterday was crazy, man. I can't even put everything into words. I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked at all. I am upset though that it happened, and you couldn't have a better picture as to white privilege. And I don't even know what you want to call it. What we got? What do we have? What is it?
Uh,
Plight, black plight, white privilege. I
Okay.
think that's the only way you can describe it. It's insane. I'm gonna need more on that. That's what I got for right now.
I feel you. I
yeah,
feel you.
I feel you too.
Kev.
Still processing. I'm like Mr. Eviction right now. I'm still processing. It's hard to put words to this, but
Mm.
the first thought was not surprised,
Yeah.
which was like on both fronts. It was
Mm.
like not surprised about the charges not being brought, and well, the riot. I wasn't expecting that, but it's like, wait, what? Like these boys that bold? And I'm like, well, you know what? Yep, they're that bold. So
Mhm.
it's like, what now? Like, what y'all gonna do about this now? Was my next question. So I'm sitting back waiting to see how this is gonna unfold. I
Mhm.
had similar sentiments, like LeBron. Like, do you guys understand? No, he said that on his Instagram, and I'm like, nah, they
They
don't
still don't.
understand.
Mm.
Yeah, they
There
still
you
don't
go.
understand.
There you go.
So it's like, yeah, man, it's just unsurprising. Hopefully, some people wake up, but if you want to stay blind, you'll be blind.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. No, I think we all feel that same way, Kev. And like I said, I think everyone has something different, slightly different, but we all just like, bruh, we know. Everyone knows, and if you don't know, you just not gonna know.
Yeah.
Like
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
I will gonna say, if
You
you
don't
don't know
want to
now,
know,
you
If you
know.
don't know,
If
but now
not,
you
now
you
just
you
don't
know.
want to
know.
know.
So
Yeah,
If
now
you
you just
don't,
don't want to know. Yeah, you
Yeah.
just
You
don't
just
want
don't
to
want to
know.
know. Yeah.
now, if you don't know, you must work for the DA in Kenosha.
ooh, maybe votes. What you got?
Oh, I mean, just like everybody else, not surprised. I've actually heard people saying this like from the beginning, like people like Bill Maher saying he's not gonna leave. It's not gonna be a peaceful transition of power. We've been seeing it. He's been, claiming massive voter fraud. He's been saying that since he won. Even when he won, he said there's massive voter fraud. So when he loses, what else do we expect? He's been setting it up
Yeah,
for years. uh it's just like just another note in there in the why we don't like this president
Yeah.
collection is just in there. It's unfortunate, it's disappointing. I feel like even if we may not like the ideas of these people, I feel like people senselessly lost their lives. There was no reason for that lady to get shot, no reason for the
Well, there was a
three.
reason for it to get shot because
No, I mean
she
like there
was
was there was no reason for him to entice them to go over there. Like what was
she could
accomplished?
just stayed at home, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. She could have been at home with her family, socially
Yeah.
distancing. Instead, she out here getting killed for what cause?
Yeah. 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 I agree with that. And again, I echo what everyone else is saying with respect to it's just being like this is just total madness. I don't know what they thought they were going to achieve by marching into a political building on a federal ground
Mm-hmm.
and breaking windows and
mm,
forcing their way into a federal building, which I believe is a crime. um, Breaking windows, which is vandalism, is a crime.
You
And
know what
going,
else was? You know what else was sad though? Like every news channel I watch was like, "Oh, and the president, he hasn't tweeted yet." We're sitting here. He changed the
wow,
presidency so much.
We waiting for the
America
tweet.
I
is
didn't notice
gauging
that.
the presidential response off of tweets.
Yeah.
mm-hmm,
How many?
mm-hmm.
He sent the president sent 3 tweets today,
Yep,
bruh.
yeah,
Mind-boggling.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, my initial thoughts was like, hmm. I feel like we all do this. The fires were being stoked the whole time. He clearly went up there was like him being 45. Uh, hey guys, we're going to march on the Capitol Hill, and we're going to make our voices be heard because we're strong, and only weak people don't do that. Like this is your last chance to be Americans. Blah 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 blah. He even said,
Yeah,
"I will be there
Patriots,
with you."
Did he
patriots.
Yeah,
march? Did he march? Where
he
was
said,
he?
"I will be there with you." Got in his car, went back to the house.
Hey.
So I don't know. Like I feel like everyone. Yes, this is to me. It's the epitome of white privilege because this is just like when white kids and I'm just extrapolating, white kids behave bad in public or do things that is socially uh, frowned upon, and then we say boys will be boys, and then they go to be like serial killers and like people who are extra entitled, and then we be like, well, how did this all start? How did this Michael Myers character come to be, serial killer, Jeffrey Dahmer, whoever come to be? And then be like, yo, backtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all been setting this guy up to be this person. This is the chick is coming home to roost. So
Yeah.
I really, I'm not surprised. I do have condolences for the people who were caught in the middle
Yeah.
and was not expecting to be, um, have their day prolonged by a bunch of tension and stress and anxiety and all those other things, or be the people to kind of come and clean up the mess afterwards because
Yeah.
you made a mess. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel initially. I would have liked to see a lot of those Republicans who were locked down and was hiding behind chairs to be like, oh yeah, I know those guys. We kept talking about them and supporting Trump, and just go out there and talk to them and be like, hey man, y'all go home. Like, we trying to take care of business, but I knew that wasn't going to happen because that's just not in their nature.
But 25th is my question, man. Where was the energy, the same energy when they had the Black Lives Matter march? An old boy
That's what
came
I'm
out
waiting
holding the
for.
Bible upside down like it was some foreign thing in his hand, and it's on the tear gassing people. They had the riot patrol then, right?
Mm-hmm,
They
Yeah.
had
mm-hmm,
everything,
Yeah.
mm-hmm,
but then for this, they had problems getting reinforcements in.
mm-hmm,
They
mm-hmm.
said people are saying, oh well, when it's Black Lives Matter, of course they expect violence. They thought they were just
Yeah.
gonna show up and
Oh,
not do
wow.
anything. I was like,
Mhm.
okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Even for me, I was perplexed on how people were like already while this was going on and there was like an invasion of the Capitol, people were already excusing this as oh, this is like the Black Lives Matters movement. I was like, so when did they ever invade a federal building with, federal employees inside and
With pipe bombs and
with pipe
tactical
bomb
gear.
like and like I know y'all threw around talking about white privilege. To
What's
me,
going on, man?
that if there was white privilege, that's the epitome of it right there. Like how you
Mhm.
draw these parallels at whims. It's like, oh well, they did something you don't like. This is how we're inconvenienced by your protesting people getting killed while unarmed or murdered by the
Mhm.
police. It's
Yeah.
like nobody
Yeah.
got murdered, nobody died. The election process went through as normal. He did his challenges in court. They were rejected. Like anything that he wanted to do legally, it happened. It just
Mhm.
didn't fall the way he wanted it to. The same way 4 years ago, hey, I didn't like that Trump got elected. Was I trying to rally you guys to come over and invade the Capitol? No. It is what it is. People voted for him, and some people sat it out, or some people felt like I'm gonna give this guy a shot, and we got him as
Mhm.
president, and that's the way elections work.
I mean,
Yeah,
I was
man, it's a
pissed
double
off when the
standard.
dude. Yeah, I was pissed off when he won, man. I thought about doing things, but I looked at my bank account. I looked at my bills. Like I had to go back to work the next day. I don't have the luxuries that these DC cats got.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
So moving on with that, then we touched on a little bit like the color tax, right?
Yeah.
Can we all agree, or does anyone disagree that the the color tax was on full display,
They
or the lack of color tax, the lack of color luxury,
yeah.
I guess you want to call it, the white privilege card? Does anyone disagree that this was on full display?
I mean, there's people that disagree. They're just not on this call. That's,
Oh, for
nah.
sure,
that's just,
for sure. They
That's
don't
what-
have
that's what it
common
is.
sense. That's the problem.
That's-
They don't have
Mhm.
common sense.
For them, it's just like, oh well, things happen that you don't like, and things happen that I don't like. They don't like that they can't do whatever they want, or like we get inconvenienced by racist policy, and we
Yeah.
don't like being oppressed. That's the equivalent. It's like I can't be
Mm.
racist to you. Oh, that's their problem, right? That's-
What do you
that's
mean
the-
I can't just murk you in the street because you're black?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Meanwhile, it's like you supposed to just be okay with having to deal with that. Like even there was a quote
Mhm.
I forgot. I wish maybe we could pull this up where the lady's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this. This shouldn't be happening. We're the Patriots.
We're the Patriots, yeah.
They
I
shouldn't
saw
be
that.
shooting it at us. They should be shooting at Black Lives Matter." And I've seen people
Wow.
throughout the day saying, "I wish people would stop making this about race." It's like,
I said
But
they should
it's-
be shooting at BLM.
yeah,
Wow.
they shouldn't be shooting at us. This is one of
Why?
the protesters.
One of the protesters was
Yeah.
shouting that. I saw that quote.
And I'm just
Yeah.
like, it's I don't know what to say about
This
that.
is just hate, man. Like at this point, is just that's just hate. It
But
just has
but
no basis.
that's the lady, right? But I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about there's spectators that will still say, "Oh, let's not make this about race." Like if people are doing things that are race based, and there's
Hmm.
people who are races, different races, like black or Latino or people of color, we're supposed to just ignore them to make you feel okay, because it's
Yeah,
Mm.
inconveniences you to bring race
it's
into it. When
uncomfortable. It's
the race was
uncomfortable.
brought, we don't bring race to it. Nobody was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh man, I wish they would come and tear gas us." Like we don't ask for that.
Yeah, yeah. So essentially, it's imbued into
Yeah,
society,
yeah,
and then they get mad when we bring up
yeah,
the elements that are imbued in society.
yeah,
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
Which is part of the privilege.
yeah,
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
It is
Because
part of it is part of the privilege.
you
Yeah.
get to
You don't
be.
gotta deal with it. So
Mm-hmm.
why think about it? Why am I gonna stress myself putting all this heavy, ugly weight on me? Like, nah, you keep that.
Yeah,
Y'all
Yeah,
keep that.
yeah, yeah. So we understand that there's a clear display of privilege, or at least two sides of America. There's two sides to this
Hmm.
corner we call America.
Hmm.
Do you think that anyone who was on one side of, oh man, like you guys are overreacting, to flip to the other side and say, oh well, now I see. Like, do you think that some of the imagery and some of the events in the past 8 months may have swayed some people from being um I don't want to talk about race because it inconveniences me too. Okay, now I see why. Like, for example, Roger Goodell,
yeah.
when he did his whole like we were wrong statement after
You,
the George Floyd,
are you talking about Trump supporters or people in Congress and Senate and all that?
the whole America. So if you wanna break it up, that's fine. But we can talk about it from different groups or segments or demographics. But just as a whole.
I think genuinely no. I think you might see a lot of like fake pandering or like people like, oh well, there's 10 minutes left on the clock. I'm gonna just go ahead and act like I have a conscience now, but like genuinely feel like, damn, maybe I made a mistake or maybe I should have did different. I think anybody that's still there at this point, no,
Got you.
no.
Got you.
If you waited this long, if it took for this, because he's been talking about massive voter fraud and pressuring people. We heard the call laws to the man in Georgia. Like he's been pushing this in this direction for a while now. So for you to actually wait for him to shoot somebody in Fifth Avenue before you grew a conscience, I don't think so.
It's that bandwagon effect, man. It's like it's popular to hate Trump, and they're just jumping on that bandwagon. They're trying to get those sound bites.
Yeah.
They're thinking about their next election, their next campaign,
Yeah.
whatever they're gonna do. So it's like 25th, like you said before we started recording. They just want that sound bite.
Mm-hmm.
They want that
Mm-hmm.
conscience to say, "Oh, but I was conscious about it. I hated
Mhm.
it. I jumped ship."
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
bruh,
Yeah.
you jumped ship 3 years, 11 months and a half. 3 years,
Yeah.
almost 2 weeks into it.
Yeah.
That's when you jump ship over a 4-year term.
My
No,
contract
no,
almost
don't
up.
count. Stop the count. Stop the count.
Yeah.
Just say I jumped ship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nah,
So you
I
got
can't
some,
give
Ken?
no love to those. No, I was gonna say I can't give no love to those to the politicians, because at the end of the day, I know they're gonna do what they gotta do to get where they gotta get, because that's their job. It's politicking. At the end of
Mm-hmm.
the day, it
Mm-hmm.
is a skill to it.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe the individual, you never know what will wake someone up, man. So at the end of the day, I'm hoping that the individuals out there sprinkle about somewhere along the line, not necessarily because of this incident, but maybe it's just where the stars align finally for you to be like, oh, okay,
I think
Got
if
you.
I
this
think
is
if that's the job, we got.
this is very divided.
I think
Yeah.
if that's the job, we got to change the job description. Nah, I'm dead serious. Like,
I know.
if this is how they have to get funding, if this is how they have to get votes, like,
Mm-hmm.
in able to enact the will of the people, like, are they representing most
Oh.
Americans right now, or are they
They're not
just
representing most of Americans. They never have
Yeah.
been.
even
They
in?
never have
But
been.
even are there even their constituents though? Are they representing their constituents truly?
My
Like,
thing is, We had an
Suspended.
election in his term, and a lot of them got reelected. Ted
Mhm.
Cruz
Mhm.
still got elected, and he probably will get reelected again.
Mhm.
Hmm. Hmm.
Who's voting for him?
It's a popular vote by the state,
Mhm.
right?
Is it though? Because we see. Let's look at the science experience. We see in Georgia where Stacey Abrams didn't, make voter fraud happen, but she did stop a lot of the, voter obstruction and
Hmm.
actually let the people go out and vote. You
Yeah.
see in Arizona, in states that were typically red for a long, long time, we've seen them go blue. So is that the people voting for these, or is it the people who've been oppressed and not been allowed to vote?
Being allowed to, yeah, no,
Yeah.
we know that there's voter
Mhm.
suppression, and it's been voter suppression since the election design was constructed.
Yep.
Voter ID laws, or just you got to own property, you got to own land, you got to be
Reading
literate.
tests,
You know,
poll
you
taxes.
Yeah, I mean, we know that you got to make it to the poll. You got to
Yeah.
get past all the terrorists who
Yeah.
try to prevent you from voting. Like, we know that's always existed. And
Yeah.
so, well, I guess what I'm saying is that in your description, it's always permeated throughout history.
Mhm.
And maybe that's the catalyst, is that now we have, now that we all have access to mail.
Mhm.
Now I don't have to worry about working or taking a day's pay off of work to go vote, or go out of my way and I don't have access. I had to like take 4 buses to get there in a line that may or may
You hit
not.
a I'm sorry, you hit a point right there, man. One, I think we are the largest democracy that does not give people the day off to vote. It's
Mhm.
not a holiday,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And two, we saw last night, man, these cats were up there going crazy, talking about how states uh, defied the Constitution by letting people mail in the vote.
Mm-hmm.
So here's my question: how long you think this mail-in vote's gonna last? Because I think they're working already. They were working months ago
Mhm.
on how to prevent this from happening again.
Okay. So
It's state
so
by
so
state.
yeah, I think I will answer your question, but yeah, let me just, you've already leaked over into the next question, like the fallout. Like, we saw what happened, we had our initial thoughts, we know that there's a color tax,
Oh,
or
big time.
color liberty,
Mhm.
depending on which side you're on. And so now we see, like a day after or so, what's going to be the fallout? What do you, so you think that, do you think that mail voting is going to be, I guess, compromised in the future?
Oh yes, for sure. I think this is our next big fight. And Democrats, they have the Senate, they got the House, and we got
Mm-hmm.
blue in the seat, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are they going to do with it? I think one of the main things they need to focus on is protecting
Voting
mail-in
rights.
ballots, man.
Yeah.
Because like you said, bruh, in some of these neighborhoods, trying to make it to the poll house, it's like somebody trying to make it through to Planned Parenthood and get past those rioters there,
Mhm.
man.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Mm-hmm.
seen
What's the
even worse to
basis?
vote.
What will be the basis for even bringing up a fight for it right now at this point? Like
Well,
at,
they're
at,
They
at, the,
they're
at the
saying
time when
there's
you first
voter fraud is what
go
they're
ahead.
saying.
well, and they're saying
Yeah,
that this
but
is the
has it been
Constitution.
proven? I mean, has it been proven to where we can say here's voter fraud. We've seen it. It's permeated.
No.
It's causing problems. We need to
Nope.
eliminate this thing. Not I've been hearing a lot of verbiage,
No
but I haven't been
evidence.
seeing a lot
What
of
No
proof.
evidence.
Here's what I heard last night when I was listening to the House of Representatives talk. They talked about voter fraud, no proof, but they said that states illegally allow people to mail in votes because it's a certain process it's supposed to go through, and they said that it wasn't approved by the federal government, and that's what they're trying to. That's what they're hanging their hat on, that process.
So approve the process.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they could try to make the
And and
process
and
complicated, which which
and
is which is what they try to do, right? They
and
try to
Yeah.
and
complicate the
the
process.
funny thing is,
Yeah.
before this whole coronavirus and all that, some of these people, I think I heard, fact check me if I'm wrong on this after the fact, they were saying like even in Pennsylvania, they were actually that the conservatives were the ones that actually put the voting mail-in vote on the ticket, and then the
Yeah.
coronavirus happened, and then when the election didn't turn out the way they wanted it to, they were the ones coming back and saying, well, it never got finally approved, this
Mm.
is wrong.
Mm.
Like, so it's I don't know, it's a lot of BS in my opinion.
Not a BS.
You wanted people to die to go vote. We have a pandemic. What else did they? I really think they wanted to delay the elections. Is what they would have wanted to do for the pandemic.
Yeah.
Possibly.
That wouldn't
But
happen.
I think a bigger thing that's the kind of the intangible when you talk about mail-in voting. I think I probably only voted once in a booth. You go there and like maybe you hear somebody scream something at you on the way in there, and then you got this big sheet of paper of a whole bunch of names you don't know and a whole bunch
You
of
don't know.
propositions
Mhm.
you know nothing about. For you to, I feel like for voter participation and actually being part of policy and politics, being able to sit down and research candidates and what propositions are, who's behind it, it just makes it way better. Otherwise, people are just going off the gut
Invaluable.
feeling. You
Yeah.
filling out 50 questions in an actual booth,
Mhm.
you really, unless you're just that tapped in, which I doubt most Americans are not. You're
Mhm.
just gonna be either going, red guys or blue guys,
Mhm.
or you just
You're
gonna
going
be
with
like
the,
yes
the
and
known
no.
quantity, the
Mhm.
known quantity.
Yeah.
Oh, I seen the sign with this guy's name. Yeah, sure.
Exactly. It's not gonna be
Yeah.
deep research. It's not gonna even be. You wouldn't even know how to vote in your best interest.
Because you don't
Honestly,
know what those interests is, what interests are being reflected in those
exactly.
propositions. I agree with you.
So
It's
I
like that
think,
sales. It's like that sales trick, right? Like
yeah.
Mhm.
get you to make that decision in a short window,
hmm
Mhm.
and we get you.
Yep.
I would
Yep.
argue
Sales
that
tactic.
in poll voting is actually kind of
Outdated.
not just outdated,
Yeah.
but it's just kind of morally wrong.
Mhm. Mhm. I
You
agree.
bring
I
up a
mean, I
good
can see
point,
that.
man. I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah, I hadn't thought
Yeah.
of that before, but you bring up a
Yeah.
valid point.
Yeah. So we've seen some of the fallout outside of the mail-in, which we kind of talked about a little bit. The House or the Senate, Speaker of the House, Speaker of the Senate, was it Minority Leader, Nancy Pelosi, I believe, was,
Majority
uh,
leader of the House.
yeah, Majority Leader of the House,
Mhm.
is saying that she is encouraging the cabinet to implement the 25th Amendment because we don't believe that Trump is fit, considering how he set on his Twitter fingers to call off his attack squad, and IG and Facebook today blocked him until the foreseeable future. So all of
Oh
his
yeah.
accounts, social media accounts, has been locked, and he's been incapacitated in that way. Trying to think what else. Oh, a lot of people, like I want to say a little bit over a dozen, like maybe 8 or so um, staff members, White House staff members, medium level, I believe, they all resigned, including Mitch McConnell's wife from
Mhm.
the
Yeah, I
cabinet.
saw that.
Yeah.
Um,
I was shocked that he was married. That was a big
it,
surprise to me.
but you know what, man? Old men they love too, man. Uh, and other things. People got fired because they got tagged. I saw one person. He had his work badge on. He got identified and terminated today. Uh,
They
a
got
West
to
Vir-
do better.
I know, right?
They were saying a member of the House or something like that was
West
part of
Virginia
it.
lawmaker he's being forced to, or he's being encouraged to resign because
The mob.
he
And
was recording himself.
and you know how much they love to attach. Oh, that's not us. That was this separate fringe group.
Bro.
This is literally
This is the level
a
now.
person in the party that is an elected official doing it, and they still always trying to separate themselves. Oh, this is not anything to do with us. Da, 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 da.
Boom.
It's
You don't
crazy.
understand, man. It was Antifa. They kidnapped his puppy, held her at gunpoint. They said, "You better go join that
Yeah.
mob
You guys
and
are
videotape
bold.
yourself."
He was
Bruh.
providing he was documenting the whole thing. They're breaking it with some riot shield. We're gonna get in there. And I was just like, oh my gosh, dude. You don't know where you
It's
work at?
Antifa.
It's George Soros. That's what it is, man.
Yeah, man. So obviously there's been some arrests, about 60 or so they call. There's some people who've been injured. Obviously 4 people died, like I said. 5 people died, including a police officer. Um, what's the fallout, man? What else do y'all think is going to happen in this?
Nothing.
Oh, January
No.
20th is gonna be lit.
What you mean?
You having a
The
party?
inauguration.
I don't
You
know. I
having
don't know
you
what
having
to
a yak
expect for
party?
that.
No, it ain't gonna be a party here. DC gonna be on. It's gonna be lit.
No, it's gonna be an undisclosed location. There's not gonna be a crowd. It's not gonna be done publicly. It wouldn't be responsible to do that
The
with the
inauguration.
pandemic. Yeah, I think if it was Trump, he would have did it. But I think they take the coronavirus serious enough that it's not gonna be done in a public space. It's not gonna be open to the public.
Do they? The Republican Party?
No. I said
No,
if
no.
Trump won, sure.
Oh,
But I'm
okay,
saying the
okay.
fact that it's the Democrats being sworn in, I think they're gonna push for it to be like closed
More
off.
virtual.
Yeah, because even if
Limited quantity. Yeah.
you're either gonna have supporters or you're gonna have people trying to protest and be in each other's faces, and you're putting the police officers at risk at that point. Like
Mhm,
to me,
mhm.
like that's almost like biological warfare for you to be getting in people's faces like that.
Yeah.
You know it's a
yeah,
pandemic. You coming out there, they got to be out there. Like, what are you doing all that for?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
that's a good point. You know, this is what I think, honestly, man. I think we're about to have like a real shadow government because this dude is about to be more potent than ever. He's not going to have people holding over the 25th Amendment over his head. He's not going to have people saying, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that, even though it was the effectiveness. We could debate about that. He's out of office. He has his platforms where, I forgot the platforms they have, Breitbart and some other stuff.
Yep.
And I think the
Parler.
Trumpeteers, man, Parler, the
Mhm.
Trumpeteers are like emboldened. They
Yeah.
just ransacked the Capitol building.
No
We
consequence.
watched it on national.
No
So
consequence.
you telling me they know they have the power? It was a full flex. It was a
But-
full flex.
But you also
That's-
know how
that's-
we got there, right? Like everybody's like, how did we get here? You remember like after we had this report and all these things and all these people around him during the campaign got thrown in jail and pardoned and all
Mhm.
this, and they
Oh,
were
yeah.
like, hey, this report has some pretty damning stuff, but he feels like he can't. Barr's like, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna interpret it and tell y'all what I think you should hear from it. They held these impeachment hearings and they were just like, not enough, right?
Yeah.
Y'all
Yeah.
thought that was supposed to make him humble?
Yeah.
That
So-
is the
He did everything to
emboldening
fire
right
him up.
there. He felt like he
Yeah.
could do anything, and he can.
Yeah.
We
He
see
did.
it.
That was for
He did.
him. But now his supporters feel that same power now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be honest, they have been militias that have been arming themselves since the beginning of the Obama era, anyways, which has been well documented. But this is the first time it's actually in history someone tried to again bully, basically mob up and make people do what they wanted to do. What
The
about
Confederate flag made it there. I'm sorry. You said the first time in history.
it finally got to the north,
Yeah.
huh?
Yo,
South shall
the
rise
South
again.
rose again, bro. The South rose and went.
Oh man, grand opening, grand closing though. The what about the Republican Party? I mean, there seems to be a lot of dissension now. People are trying to like save face. We saw Mike Pence. So I don't know if you guys saw this. Mike Pence changed his Twitter banner to the victory pose of Kamala and Biden on Twitter.
Oh, I didn't
What?
see that.
Yeah,
No, let me.
yeah. So
Wow.
he trying to look. He know he gotta find a seat after this is over.
I think there's gonna be
Guy.
like they were like, oh, but I've been saying this. I feel like I'm on record saying this, probably on this podcast even. I feel like there's been a grand reckoning. Like they were like, oh, the Democrats gonna have to figure out what they need to do, and I was like, they're always gonna do what they do. They're gonna put a centrist into place, even though there's all these like far left people. They're gonna put a centrist, and they're just gonna keep the shit moving. That's all. They're not doing too much. With the
Yeah.
Republicans, y'all had 14 of the vanilla flavored Republicans, like the classic Republicans, and Donald Trump beat all of them.
Yeah.
That moment right there, that told you everything you need to know that the Republican Party is gonna be the one that really needs to figure some shit out, not the Democrats.
So you feel like they've been out here riding scot free because like they made it, so like they just out here like we can do whatever we want because we own the ship. And now that you're starting to see cracks in the ship, now you think that
I think the issue
That's
is
just-
they were willing to keep riding the ship as long as the policies they wanted to get through. The judges were being appointed, the Supreme Court justices. They were like, why break with him and
The end
lose all these
justifies the
things?
means.
Yeah, the end justifies
Yeah.
the means. And now that it's gotten so bad, any kind of like moderate Republican, I can't see like getting in line with a lot of these people that wholeheartedly just whatever the Trump is doing, I'm gonna sign off on it because I
Mhm.
want to get elected again. I don't
Yeah.
think they can rock
Yeah.
with those people, and
Yeah.
and it's hard to have a whole change in government like that. Like you just
Yeah.
gonna have a whole new Republican Party tomorrow. Is gonna take time.
Yeah.
To
So
rebuild. I feel you.
even if you look at now the rebound, the presidency, the Senate, and the House at the same time. When was the last time that happened for the for the Democrats?
For Democrats, I think that was Obama's first term, right?
Yeah, I want to say
Yeah.
Obama had it. Yeah, but
Second term, I think, was where he was having some hard time. Or maybe.
But even
No,
if,
no. I actually maybe. Yeah, I think that's what happened. Yeah.
but even if you look at where that happened, like Obama got a lot of like the rust iron and those kind of places, right? And we lost those to
The
Trump
Rust Belt,
because
yeah.
Trump kind of resonated with them, and
Because he was talking about bringing back that old jobs.
Calls
He
and
gonna
all
be
that.
working.
But look what they lost in that process. You lost Georgia. That was never blue. You lost Arizona.
yeah,
Like
Yeah.
we might get those coal miners back because they remember them coal miners didn't get their jobs in its last 4 years. How
They
many
sure
coal
didn't
how
get
many
them.
coal
No, they
miners
didn't.
came back? So we might get those people back. Are you ever? And then people are still moving into Georgia, like Democrats. Are you ever gonna get Georgia back? Are you ever gonna get Arizona back?
Good question. Good question. Good question. So, but what? Okay, so what about Trump? I mean, well, let me ask this. What about the people who are resigning? Do y'all think that that's
Come on, man.
got much stock in
Come on,
that?
man. Stop
Anyone got any stock in that?
Stop
Like
it,
2
bro.
weeks left. You gonna?
Stop it.
Nah.
Yeah,
I don't no stock in it.
y'all
Like,
feel
it's
like
the
it's
shit,
time
the
to
shit
break
about to go
away.
down is like, let me jump off.
I know,
That's
right?
all.
We shutting down the studio in 5 hours. All right, y'all. I'm gonna head out. Like,
Okay. Yeah, so y'all said, hey, there's no integrity in that. It was just more so
like
hey,
hey,
shit
the lights come on in the club. I was heading home anyway.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Shoot.
Okay.
Where the after party at? Like you don't get points for that. Like
Nah,
for
no
me,
points.
you
no
have
points.
to take a stand when it's not
When it's
beneficial.
inconvenient.
Yeah, when it's inconvenient. That's
Yeah.
when
When it's
it
not
makes a
popular.
difference. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
so.
like you know, part of the reasons the man lost Arizona, like John McCain.
Oh yeah.
He was a true and true Republican, but like if y'all gonna repeal without replacing, like y'all said y'all gonna do, I'm not voting for it.
Yep.
And he stood on his principles and he put his thumbs
McCain
down.
was a real one. He was a real one.
He also insulted on in his presidential race, saying, "Hey man, anyone who gets caught as a POW
I like
ain't no hero." Like that's shots fired, anyways. But
Yeah.
yes, I agree with you.
But you know, he respects the military. That's why they like him and not people like Kaepernick.
bro. But POWs ain't. Hold on, POWs ain't military. I think the requirement of being a POW
It's to be in the military. Like, look it up. Yo, so McCain stood his ground, right? But Trump cracked and humiliated everybody that ran against him.
That
in that
defied him,
presidential
yeah.
run.
Oh, every
But
single
Cruz is like Ted Cruz is
buddy
the
with
biggest
him.
Trump supporter now. Yeah, he
Giuliani.
like cracked this dude.
The man was
Giuliani.
talking. Didn't he talk about Ted Cruz's wife? Like the man.
Yeah, bruh.
The man went in
We're
on
not
his wife.
talking anymore,
I
man.
don't-
You talking
I
about
don't-
my
yeah, like-
family?
And then
He
you
We
was
look
got no
after-
words.
and look at the fallout
dude
around
can't
Trump.
respect him.
How many people, bro? How many people? The George Papadopoulos, or whatever his name is.
I can never say his name either.
Damn, who was his friend that he just Roger Stone,
Stone went to jail, man. He had to spend some time for us.
Michael Flynn. Like,
Won't even hear from
who was
him.
his lawyer? Who was his lawyer again? That was
Cohen.
paying off strippers. Michael Cohen.
Cohen, yeah.
Everybody that was rocking with him, even like Lindsey Graham gonna get the smoke again. Like Bill Barr, the lawyer, like is just name after name. Every time they fall out of favor, all of a sudden it's just
We found a way to
Yeah,
replace you. You no longer need it.
yeah.
So, all right, man, we're gonna wrap this up real quick. Any last words on this? On just all of this? It's been a lot. So happy 2021, man. We starting off in a good, in a positive direction. We just got a little bit of side effects from the previous year. So, any last words anyone wants to put out there? We can start with you, Kev. You've been kind of quiet.
I'm quiet because I'm still in listening mode right now, man. I'm still taking things in. Like this thing is just it's crazy, but at the same time, it is what it is, and maybe sometimes these kind of things have to happen for other doors to open up and for eyes to open up. But like we said, it probably ain't gonna happen if they don't want to. So
Mm-hmm.
My last word is to anyone who's watching this, and if you care to wake up, you still got a chance.
Yeah.
Now's your time. You know what I mean?
Got you.
Yo, just
Got you.
remember, it's not that deep, man. At the
Nah,
end of
it
the
ain't.
day,
It
like
ain't that serious.
y'all got some policies I don't like. We got some policies y'all don't think will work. I do think it's gonna be dangerous for both parties. Like if the Democrats have all this power now and they don't utilize it and get stuff done, that's not gonna look good for them. On the flip side of that, if these Democrats get in there and get like people health care and they're like, hey, this is a good thing. I could see a doctor. If stuff like that works, you can't take that back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once
And if they
people
can,
really like, look how hard it was for them to get rid of the Obamacare as much as they hated it.
mm-hmm.
Mhm.
If they get some policies that they were scaring people into thinking that's too socialist, whether it's
Yeah.
like people going to school for free or whatever, if some of these policies come into play and most Americans like it, is you can't take that back, man. So I
Okay.
think that's where we at. I'm looking forward to the future though. Um,
Yes, sir.
moving
Cool.
past
Cool.
it and the unity that Biden's trying to bring. I know people think he's pandering or whatever, but as we see, messaging matters.
Mm-hmm.
So not calling people deplorables and just saying, hey, let's just come together and move forward. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's the right message right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel you. Eviction. You getting evicted, man. What you gonna say on your way out?
Start getting evicted, right? I uh I like what 11780 said over there, man. It's the messaging. I know they played Biden's clip. I need Biden to wake up. I need Biden to get a little bit more passion in what he says, man. I thought he was going to sleep, but the words were still kind. My message to the people, man, the job isn't done. Sure, we got a blue White House now, but like you said, there's still a lot of work to be done. The Democrats can't just go and sit on their ass just because they have it, like they
Mm-hmm.
won the prize. And
Mm-hmm.
things that get fixed, these vaccines. I think at last count, only 4 million vaccines went out. And it's supposed to be like 10 that went out,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get that fixed. Let's work on these logistics. Let's get people the shots that want the shots and need the shots. Let's try
Mm-hmm.
to get Corona wrapped up, put her back where
Yeah.
she came from,
Yeah.
so we get this country back up and running. And
Mm-hmm.
then healthcare and these other things. So my thing is, the job ain't stopped, man. You got the people you wanted in office. Make sure they do what they say they're gonna do,
Mm-hmm.
and that starts with the people, man. We're the voice, we're the power, and I think we forgot that. Some people
Mm-hmm.
are waking up. Hello, Georgia.
Goodbye, Florida. Dang, man.
Alabama,
Hey, Alabama.
Tennessee,
Hey, hey, hey,
Tennessee.
hey, 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 hey,
Okay, don't
hey,
don't just be out here. There's a
hey.
lot of states, man.
We
Good
we
people
we
on
Yeah.
were
both
we were
Yeah.
sides.
rooting for you
Good
though. We
people
were
on
rooting
good.
for you. We were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you, and y'all let us down, man. So, but yeah, man, I echo all of that, and actually really uh, uh agree wholeheartedly with what the evicted Mr. Eviction has said with respect to just kind of like, man, look, man, we want accountability, and so hold those politicians that you put into those places, into the positions of power, accountable. And when they don't deliver on the things that you are expecting of them, then yeah, get someone else in there. That's the power of the people. That's the power of the vote. That's the will of the
Yeah.
people, and that is what I feel like we have somewhat lost and are trying to regain as a country. But yeah, it was again a fortunate series of events. It's a uh, historical event, probably not as bad as World Trade Center or Pearl Harbor, but it was something that was a first in the history, and hopefully it's a lesson learned, and it kind of opens up the eyes to Americans and realize that people are watching. I feel that whenever our global allies start to frown upon things that we do,
Mm-hmm.
is when we start to look at the mirror and try to right the ship, or at least you know not be acting up so bad.
Yeah.
In which again, if you guys know about the Jim Crow laws and all that stuff, that's some of that
Optics,
that global use.
optics,
Yeah, some
optics.
of that global views is what helped moderate some of that and get some
Mm-hmm.
of that stuff about the paint.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, that's all I have, man. We will leave it here. We're about 45 minutes in. Um, Last call for anything else? Otherwise, we can wrap it up.
Wrap up.
Happy 2021. Everyone
Happy
stay blessed.
2021, man. We got a new president.
Hey,
Mr.
25th, man.
46.
Can you send Trump to that same place you used to get those fake jerseys from back in the day?
Wow.
Uh, just had to get one. He had to get one jab in before he left.
I mean, you see
I hit
now
him
his
up.
you see now his team winning. You see now his team winning. He wanna
Hey, roll
he's
tide,
been
baby, roll
emboldened.
tide.
He's been
What team? What team? Oh,
The Warriors. The
okay.
Warriors.
Yeah, but they just lost though. But we did good that game though. We're going
He's
off
been
topic, but we
emboldened. He's
did.
been
Hey, we not counting that game, Kev. Hey,
I
stop the
count that
count.
game. I
stop
count that
the
game.
count.
Curry
I'm counting
was
that. You mean
injured.
the
Cool. All right, guys. Thanks for everyone who's sticking around. Hopefully, it was educational, entertaining, and you got a nice laugh out of the horror that actually happened. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and share. If you dislike, tell us why you dislike. I saw a dislike in the last one. I don't know who it was, but I'm gonna need y'all to speak up.
Oh, I wasn't in the
They
last
probably,
one, huh?
they probably raided the Capitol after that.
I wasn't in the last one.
He
That's
wasn't
what
in
it
the
was.
last 5, so I don't know, man.
I don't know why he would even say that. Like, I don't want you to even bring that up.
Well, you know, the Warriors wasn't winning, so he couldn't show his face. Now they winning. He want to show back up, talking about some, the Warriors should rise again. So
Got to get my
They
sound
will.
clips
They
in,
will
man. My
rise
sound
again. They
bites.
will rise again. But he already said they will make the playoffs, and he have all this half empty vibe already.
I
So
know, that's what I'm
Whoa.
saying.
I don't know what about us.
Kev.
Yeah,
I
you
said-
have a
I
half
said
empty
best
vibe right
place.
now. You have
I
a
said they'll
half
make the
empty vibe
play-in,
right now.
the play-in tournament. I ain't say they would not
You
make the
wasn't
playoffs.
talking that positive. You were just like
Nah.
they ain't making
He's
it.
like,
He's
if
been
they,
emboldened.
if they do, it'd probably be the play-in. Like I was like, we were trying
Like
to big up
that.
the Warriors.
Like
They were
that.
like, oh yeah, they could be playoff bound. Like Curry's playing good. He was like, if they do.
he saw the 62 points. He was like, "We in here."
I know, right?
And the tide turned quick.
We'll just go ahead and sign off because, like I said, Mr. Eviction and went all off the rails. But yeah, everyone take care, man. Until next time, deuces, y'all.
Later.